Imagine if someone spoke to your friend the way you often speak to yourself. Would those words lift them up or tear them down? For many, the harsh truth is that we can be far kinder to others than we are to ourselves. We tend to push our own needs aside, downplay our accomplishments, and chase after impossible standards. Yet, amidst this hustle, we rarely take a moment to consider the damage this does to our well-being. Number 1. Self-love. When you're always looking for someone to tell you you're doing a great job or you're enough, you're essentially saying that your self-worth is contingent on their opinion. And that, my friend, is a recipe for disaster. When the validation you crave isn't forthcoming, it can leave you feeling anxious, lost, and even questioning your abilities. Think about it. How often have you felt deflated when someone doesn't acknowledge your hard work? It's exhausting. First off, it's essential to understand that seeking validation from others can stem from deeper insecurities. It's that nagging feeling that maybe, just maybe, you're not good enough as you are. But here's the kicker. By depending on external validation, you're giving away the power over your emotions. You're allowing someone else to dictate how you feel about yourself, which can create a roller coaster of emotions, up one moment and down the next. Number 2. Setting boundaries. If you often find yourself nodding along when you really want to say no, it might be time to hit pause and reflect. The inability to set boundaries is a significant red flag when it comes to self-love. Think about it. When you can't say no, you're effectively sidelining your own needs in favor of others. This can lead to feeling overcommitted, overwhelmed, and, let's be honest, resentful. It's like trying to fill a cup from an empty pitcher. Eventually, you're going to run dry. Number 3. Your inner voice. Let's take a moment to reflect on that voice inside your head. You know the one. The inner critic that seems to have a PhD in negativity. If your internal dialogue is more like a relentless judge than a supportive friend, it's no wonder you're struggling to feel good about yourself. This critical inner voice can be a real confidence killer, leaving you feeling like you're never enough. But why does it happen? The truth is, when this negativity becomes second nature, it can fly under the radar, making it hard to realize just how damaging it is to your mental health. It's almost like you've become so accustomed to that inner monologue that you don't even notice how much it holds you back. You might find yourself hesitating to pursue goals, shying away from opportunities, or even doubting your worth in social situations, all because of what that little voice is whispering or yelling in your ear. Number 4. Compliments. Imagine this. You walk into a room and someone pays you a compliment. They say, "You look great today," or "You did an amazing job on that project." But instead of smiling and accepting the praise, you shrug it off, laugh awkwardly, or even change the subject. Ever wonder why that happens? If compliments make you uncomfortable, it's a sign that you might not believe you truly deserve them. This discomfort is often linked to low self-esteem, where your inner perception of yourself doesn't quite match up with the positive feedback you're receiving. When you reject compliments, you send a message to yourself and others that you don't value your own worth. Think about it. If someone acknowledges something good about you, it's because they see it. So why not let that sink in? If you struggle to accept compliments, it could indicate a misalignment between how you view yourself and how others perceive you. In a world that often tells us to downplay our achievements, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing we're not worthy of praise. Number 5. Comparing yourself. In a world bursting with social media highlights and constant comparisons, it's all too easy to find yourself measuring your worth against others. You might scroll through Instagram and see friends flaunting their new cars, fancy vacations, or perfectly curated lives. Suddenly, that little voice in your head chimes in, "Why don't I have that? Am I not doing enough?" If this sounds familiar, it's time to hit the brakes. Constantly comparing yourself to others is a recipe for misery, and it's a surefire way to undermine your self-love. When you find yourself in the comparison trap, remember that this cycle often leads to feelings of inadequacy. Number 6. You can't stand alone. Imagine this. You're at a social gathering, and everyone around you is laughing, chatting, and having a great time. But then there's a moment when the laughter dies down, and suddenly you find yourself alone with your thoughts. Does that idea send a wave of panic through you? If so, it might be time to dive into a crucial aspect of self-love, your relationship with solitude. When you can't stand being alone, it often signals a deeper issue, one that involves relying on others to fill a void in your life. It's easy to turn to friends, family, or even social media to distract ourselves from the uncomfortable feelings that come with being alone. But if you find that you can't tolerate being by yourself, it's a sign that you may be using others as a crutch. You might fear that without constant company, you're not complete or valuable enough. This is a dangerous mindset that can keep you stuck in a cycle of dependency, leaving little room for personal growth. Number 7. Working too much and never rest. Picture this. You wake up early, jump into your day with a never-ending to-do list, and before you know it, the sun has set and you've hardly paused for breath. If this sounds all too familiar, it's likely that you're caught in a relentless cycle of work, leaving little room for rest and relaxation. In our fast-paced world, many people tie their self-worth to their productivity. They believe that the more they work, the more valuable they are. But here's the truth. Constantly grinding away can lead to burnout, leaving you mentally and physically drained. It's time to shift that mindset and recognize that rest isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. When you're stuck in the workaholic mindset, it's easy to overlook the warning signs your body and mind are sending you. You might find yourself feeling constantly tired, irritable, or unmotivated. Your body deserves a break, and so does your mind. Number 8. Toxic relationships. Have you ever found yourself in a toxic relationship, feeling like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of drama and negativity? It's frustrating. If you keep finding yourself entangled in unhealthy connections, it may be a sign that you're not giving yourself the love you truly deserve. Many people settle for less than they should, thinking it's normal to tolerate bad behavior or that they aren't worthy of better treatment. This mindset is a slippery slope, one that can lead to emotional turmoil and heartache. Number 9. Sabotaging. Ever catch yourself procrastinating, scrolling endlessly on your phone, or engaging in habits that seem to derail your progress? If so, you might be guilty of self-sabotage, a sneaky behavior that can creep into anyone's life and keep them from reaching their full potential. It's like being your own worst enemy, preventing you from achieving your goals and embracing happiness. But why do we do this? Often, it stems from a deep-seated belief that we're not worthy of success or happiness. This belief can lead to a pattern of behaviors that create obstacles, making it seem impossible to move forward. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly excited about a goal? You probably had a burst of motivation, but then something happened. You procrastinated, got distracted, or found excuses to avoid taking action. It's frustrating, right? But this cycle doesn't have to be your reality. The first step to breaking free from self-sabotage is recognizing the specific actions or thoughts that are holding you back. Number 10. Feeling invincible. Ever felt like you're just blending into the background, like a ghost in your own life? If you often find yourself feeling invisible, it might be time for a wake-up call. When you hold back, afraid to take up space or voice your thoughts, you essentially fade away from the world around you. It's easy to fall into this trap, but here's the thing. It doesn't have to be your reality. You have the power to change that narrative and start participating fully in your life. First things first, let's talk about why this happens. Often, it's rooted in fear of judgment, fear of rejection, or even just the fear of being seen. You might think that by not taking up space, you're making things easier for others. But the truth is that holding back only leads to feelings of loneliness and frustration. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, press the subscribe button, and also drop your thoughts in the comment section.